Welcome back to Good Day State Line. We are at Wesley Willows and we're so excited to be outside in the garden area. We've heard a lot about this in the last, I think, year or so, but we're finally experiencing it with Ken. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, what would you like to know?
Well, you know, how did you get being part of the Wesley Willows community?
Well, I had been familiar with Wesley Willows from about 40 years ago because we knew a person or two lived here. But it was all on the other side of Rockton at that time.
Okay.
More recently, in the 90s, we became aware that they'd expanded over here, and we came by and really liked what we saw. So we moved out here from Des Plaines.
Oh.
And this is a bargain compared to Metro Chicago living like this.
I'm from Metro
So
Chicago. I know what
yes,
you mean.
you know what I mean. So that's kind of how we got here.
How long have you been here with Wesley Willows?
14 years this past April.
You know, I'm waiting for them to lower the age so I can cheers if they'll says I'm
I've
not
heard
old
that
enough.
before.
Yes.
Yeah.
But one of the cool things is this garden out here. How come you know, did you start this garden or are you just the leader of the pack?
Well, there is a pack, and I guess it kind of fell to me to do some initial organizing.
Sure.
And as I was saying earlier, we moved in April of '07. We were the first residents on the Urim there.
Okay.
And the tree line that's just behind our house was where we had the first garden in '07. Several master gardeners, Judge John Sipe, a number of people, very competent people and gardeners, banded together, and we had 2 years in that site, and then they were building and building and building, and they squeezed us out. So we went to Bill Pratt and said we would like to have a permanent spot that we really developed, because that was a very makeshift before. And in '09, we began. This was a cornfield. All those houses were grazing corn, not houses. And we came to this field, laid out this circle, put up this pavilion, and started gardening. We started with just from here that way.
Okay.
And as the years went by, we expanded. And this year we have 80 gardeners out here.
So what's everybody planting this year? Because
Oh
I
my,
see a couple
well,
things I recognize, but just like marigolds.
If you name it, it's probably here somewhere, particularly vegetables. But we've increased in flower people who want to just raise flowers, and it makes it prettier.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's right, because you've got to wait for the vegetables to be colorful, and then
That's
you got to
right.
eat them.
That's right.
The
That's
flowers
right.
at least stay for a little bit longer.
That's right.
So what do you love most about being part of this garden community back here?
Well, I think, in fact, I know, gardening is therapeutic. As I've got a T-shirt that says, gardening, cheaper than therapy, and you get tomatoes. Well, you know, it is therapeutic. As a matter of fact, there are movements across our country for treating people who need therapy for PTSD and such, soldiers and such coming back, and gardening is a part of their therapy.
Wow.
So, you know, I'm convinced that doing this not only raises some nice things to eat fresh at home and flowers to admire, but I think a person, it's good for their soul. And it's good for mine, and I observe that in other people too.
And you were telling me before we started that last year you did have a garden because the planning meeting was before the pandemic hit.
Yes.
And you felt like that was really important for people who were basically, you know, not able to see their friends and family.
Given the confinement that was coming, I figured this would be a real release. We had about 70, I think 71 or 2 gardeners last year.
Sure.
But this year, we couldn't have the big meeting.
Right.
So my committee got busy on the telephone, and we contacted everybody who had it last year. Do you want another one this year? If so, how big? And then we put out the general word, you know, things are open. If you're new to this, give us a call. And that's how we got to where we are now.
So which one of these plants are yours?
Well, that you see the white fence
Yeah.
over there? Well, I've got the plot just this side of that.
All right, what are you growing this year?
Well, tomatoes for
Okay,
sure,
good.
because I want my tomatoes. But there's green beans, wax beans over there, sweet onions, radishes, carrots,
You've got a whole salad.
spinach. I've grown up with a gardening family, and we really like all the stuff that gets grown out here, so we grow it ourselves.
Okay, and it was so nice to meet you. Thank you for explaining this entire beautiful garden with me.
It's my pleasure.
Coming up next on GDS, our friend and lifestyle expert Valerie Greenberg is diving into some hot products for the summer, and then Sarah from Dady Law is stopping by. Make sure you stop by gooddaystateline.com and nominate your favorite dad to be the GDS Dad of the Year. Today is the last day to nominate someone to join me and my dad here in the GDS studio next week. Plus, the winner gets a brand new grill. So get to it, gooddaystateline.com. We'll be right back.